What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Arsenal review. This morning, the men's team winning 2-1 over Sheffield United, and the women's team getting back on track with a 3-1 win over Bristol City. Both results that you can be happy with, but I'd say performances that left a lot to be desired.
Oh, yeah. I'm not the type of brother to play with. See a lot of people acting like oh yeah. All ball players sounding like haters. We the young kings of this generation, oh yeah.
Shout out to y'all, man. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in for these Arsenal reviews. Y'all are a big part of the channel because these are videos that obviously I really enjoy making as an Arsenal fan. And, it's something fun for me to be able to do every single week after the games and share my thoughts. Yeah, I just want to say shout out to everybody who consistently watches these. Y'all keep the channel strong, and I appreciate the support. So if you guys ever have thoughts on the game, be sure to leave those in the comments, and I will always happy to chat some Arsenal with you. I'll touch on the women's game real quick. It was a 3-1 win over Bristol City. Honestly, I was anticipating not having a whole lot to say about this game because last season, Arsenal, this was the game where they made headlines where Miedema had 6 goals and 4 assists against Bristol City, and they just obliterated them. Credit to Bristol. They said, hey, look, that is not going to happen again this year. And they put in a pretty strong performance, actually scored first against Arsenal. And it took until about the 40th minute before Nobbs got the equalizer for Arsenal. So yet another big goal from Nobbs. And Arsenal did pretty much kick on from there. That goal came at the end of the first half. They scored again right after the break with Foord. And then Miedema wrapped up the points, I think in the 85th minute with a goal of her own. I think Arsenal, especially in the first half, really just tried to make things too complicated in a sense. Both of the first 2 goals just came from very simple patterns of play where they were able to work the ball out wide, get a good ball in the box. Earlier in the game, Arsenal were a bit impatient. It just felt like they were eager to start scoring, and it just required a little bit more patience than that. But they did eventually end up getting the win and looked a lot more comfortable in the second half. I will say, woman of the match for me in this one, I got to give a shout out to Sophie Bagley in goal for Bristol City, because while it may not have ended up like last year, it could have been a whole lot worse. And she pulled off some great saves to keep Arsenal at bay and keep Bristol City in this game for probably longer than they should have been. But let's move on to the men's 2-1 win over Sheffield. There was a lot of moans and groans both before the game and at halftime when it was set at 0-0. There's been some discouraging news in the transfer market recently with the Houssem Aouar deal looking like it's on ice at the moment, and still no real advances with Thomas Partey. On that note, stay tuned tomorrow to the channel. Of course, it's deadline day. Me and Vic will be coming together to make a video on deadline day, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you're new, turn those post notifications on so you can know when we drop that video tomorrow. But yeah, the mood was bad coming into the game and throughout the first half for sure with Arsenal. I do think that Arteta made a good decision today going with a 4-3-3, 4 at the back, which literally this is the first time we've seen that post-lockdown. So I was really happy to see that, because I think against a team like Sheffield United, who had not scored this season coming into the game, you don't need 3 center backs in that game. And I think his decision to play a midfield 3 of Ceballos, Elneny, and Saka was a really, really good move. It clearly paid off because all 3 of them played well and played key parts in the second half. And that leads me to my man of the match, Bukayo Saka, the star boy himself, man. On the same week he gets his England call-up, shout out to him. It's a little evil that they did it on Nigerian Independence Day. I know that my Nigerian brothers and sisters out there were not too happy about that one. He could have had a future with them for sure. But it's still a dream come true for Saka. And then to score his first goal at the Emirates this weekend in the Arsenal colors. I mean, what a great week for him personally. And also, I want to credit him for fighting through some adversity in this game. In the first half, I think he got fouled like 3 or 4 times. It felt like every time he got the ball, even when there wasn't a foul, Sheffield was giving him a little shove in the back and really testing him. And that's something that, teams like Sheffield are going to do, but it shows the amount of respect that he's already garnered, even with the fact that he hardly ever plays in center midfield. They knew immediately this is the danger man. This is the guy we have to shut down. This is the creative force of Arsenal's attack. That just shows the respect that other teams are having for him. And I give him credit for being able to play through that, because sometimes, he gets physically taken out of the game a little bit. I would say that's the main weakness in his game at this point. But he fought through it, and in the second half, he capped off a beautiful team move from Arsenal. Like, let's just talk about that goal for a minute, because it came right after the substitutions. So Pepe came on, Aubameyang moved over to the middle. The front three was Willian, Aubameyang, and Pepe. And I think this goal just highlighted everything about why the 4-3-3 is what Arteta needs to continue to play. And even if there are games where he starts with 3 at the back, he needs to be willing to change this to get some offense. Because look at that goal. The ball was isolated on the wing. Willian had actually switched over, showing, the interchangeability of the front three. And then the guy who burst through the midfield to break the lines and start the attack is El Neni, who comes up from his kind of 8 position, I guess. He was playing a little bit ahead of Ceballos. El Neni breaks the lines, finds the feet of Aubameyang, who knocked it back out. Bellerin puts the cross in, and Saka converts it. And this was crucial because people think that Aubameyang can't play through the middle. They think his hold-up play is not good enough. But he showed once he went into the middle that he is always dangerous there. And his hold-up play was a key part of that goal. Then you see the overlap from Bellerin, Saka to be there at the back post as the other center mid when El Neni started it from the other center mid spot. Chef's kiss. Beautiful goal. And then Pepe following it up with a goal just straight out of his Leo highlight mixtapes. Like, that was the type of goal when Arsenal signed Pepe that I thought we were going to see every single week. And although he's had some great moments, that was the type of goal we really haven't seen him score with Arsenal. His best goals, I think, have been more so like just a little touch and hit. And he hits those curlers very well, obviously, but more so in the top corner. This goal, he's driving at the defender. He's forcing him to commit. And he has this technique, this finish where it looks like a pass. It looks like almost a misplaced cross. But he puts it with such accuracy and such curve towards the back post that it is literally impossible for the goalkeeper to save. Ramsdale had no chance on that. It was a great goal to see from Pepe. Now, I don't want to get too gassed off this result. I would say, save for Fulham, Sheffield have been the worst team in the Premier League this season. They still managed to score their only goal so far of the campaign at the end, with Arsenal just letting off a little bit. And it was a good goal from McGoldrick, but still annoying to concede at the end. It was just unnecessary, and Arsenal should have done more to see the game out in that circumstance. So we do have to take it with a grain of salt. If you looked at what the fans were saying at halftime versus what they're saying at full time, it's very different. And I think the one thing that still stands true through all of it is that Arsenal could really use another signing in midfield before this transfer window goes shut tomorrow. Ceballos played well. El Neni did his thing. Saka was brilliant. But it's not enough for Arsenal, especially over the course of a season, and especially against better teams than Sheffield. So anyway, we'll leave it with that, and I guess we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow on deadline days. I said stay tuned for a video right here on the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure those post notifications are on. I'm going to keep making these Arsenal videos and so much more content on the channel. So thanks for checking this out. Have a good rest of the weekend, and peace.